Welcome. This is Politics Today. Hapa tunachapa siasa, tumerudi kama kawa, kama dawa. My name is JONAH SIMBA and this is Science TV. You are watching the inclusion platform from Nairobi, Kenya. Na tumewaletea kama kawa our favorite political analysts, Jeffrey Otieno.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're always on my left.
For
one time I'll put you on my right. Uku right nimeka priest.
Uku niko majenzi.
Dan Olandenga, civic educator and budget facilitator Nairobi County. Dan Olandenga, don't forget that name. But you mna Twitter. Ama una mtu akitaka kuwafollow na follow aje?
On X.
Guy.
Bora kwa Twitter handle.
Sielewi hizo vitu. 0311980384. Feel free to follow with us. By the way, someone was asking me, how do you get the videos? Very simple. Enter to YouTube. Enter YouTube, write Science TV. You can watch the last week's show, by the way. Just write the game of chess in politics. Utaona hiyo show last week. A lot of comments. Thank you for your comments. Understanding shy iko pale. All the things that we are bringing to you hapa. This thing started with Dan Paul. We were status report, by the way, Nairobi County. Ndio tulianza hii journey. Civic education, civic engagement, public participation, and here we are. By the way, rumors. Is it rumors or is it true? Patrick, Nairobi County Director, Public Participation Department. Ametolewa nini? Why?
Yeah, I spoke to him this morning. He has been moved to another department, but of course within the same working environment. He didn't disclose to us as to where he has been moved to, but Patrick was such a vibrant young man, and we were headed places with that department. We will miss him big way.
Right.
If you remembered, immediately after the launch was done of the status report, there were things that were to be done. There was actually an action plan.
Yes.
Now that action plan is only in the interim as we speak. So hopefully, like he said himself, that the director that will work in should be able to speed up what we had begun together as actors.
We'll be having the chief officer, Zippy.
Yeah.
You know Dr. Zipora, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll be bringing Zippy here.
She's coming.
Yeah, very soon.
Okay.
Very soon. Hopefully end of this month.
That's good.
So that she can shed some light on which way imambo ya public participation.
She should.
That's a good department. We need such departments around the country, don't you think?
Very vibrant.
Yes. Mambo ya public participation agencies, where are you at? What's your opinion on issues of public participation?
I think it's a very nice thing. Kitu inanibamba sana is that most of the Gen Z siku hizi wamehusiana na mambo ya siasa. Like me, I didn't love politics, but how the government is being run inafanya uingie kwa siasa uanze kupigania haki yao, because hadi watu wetu wenye watakam lazima uweze umetengenezea future fit. Unaona, tunasemanga kama kitu yenye maparo yetu alishindwa kufanya, si kama Gen Z, it's our time to do it in action. Our parent, what I always say and what always the Gen Z says wanasemanga, our parent wakutupatia food poa, atukula fiti, lakini kitu yenye walihakikisha ni tumepata education poa. Right now hata politician yenye atakam lazima tuchague politician mfiti mwenye ako na interest ya wase wengi. Bear me witness, remember that in the previous election, so many Gen Zs hawakupiga kura.
True.
This time, they are the people that are going to change the game.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
You think so, Dan?
Jonah, if you allowed me to speak, pick it up from where Jonah has left.
Geoffrey.
Geoffrey.
Pardon.
Is that public participation itself is in the law. It is in the mother law. Actually, article number 1.
Just move close to the mic or something.
Article number 1 of the Constitution speaks about your power.
Right.
This power, this sovereign power, is bestowed among us Kenyans. It is your power. You have this supreme sovereign power.
Yes.
So the thing is, how do you use that power to move forward? You can only use that power to move forward when you participate. Now you can participate physically, you can participate fiscally by making payments through taxation and stuff like that. So the drafters of the constitution looked at it this way. Wakasema, we have had very many occasions where people have thought that they were participating, but actually they didn't participate. Okay. They participated through tokenism. I give you something, you follow what I say. You know, they didn't participate wholesome. So public participation has been taken to a level where it has been subscribed as a value. Article number 10, Article 2 speaks about public participation. Whatever government does, lazima make sure watu wamehusishwa. Hiyo ndio public participation.
Yes.
2 or 3 inaongea matumizi yoyote ya pesa katika ule utaratibu wa kutengeza matumizi ya pesa, public lazima wahusishwe. So the issues of the finance bill, the issues of election, you know, when you say vote apathy, mimi sitapiga kura because sipendi siasa. Wakati umeshasema tu hivyo, you've already voted the wrong leader.
Yeah, true.
So good people who don't do what they should do through the ballot vote in bad leaders who lead them, good people, wrongly.
What do you think was in the mind of the Nairobi governor when he came back with this milestone? You know, the public participation department. I think not so many counties have such a department. Am I right?
Yes. So it was envisaged that devolution came into place.
Of course, the chief officer will come and
Yeah. It was envisaged that every county should have a stand-alone department that would speak to civic education and public participation and therefore inclusivity.
Okay.
It was envisaged in the Constitution and in the County Government Act. It was envisaged, and even in the PFM Act, it was envisaged that in every county there shall be a department stand alone that speaks about matters of education and public participation, so that people can come on board and begin discourse, begin discussion. So what Governor Sakaja did was to put up to do a recommendation, a sort of a survey, to inform the status of public participation in the county of Nairobi. So this has informed very many other counties coming on board to interrogate the status of involvement, the status of public participation in each of those counties.
Okay.
Yes.
Of course, we'll be back here on issues of PWDs and okay, they don't like abbreviations. They say you say it in full. Persons with disabilities. And public participation, not just in Nairobi County. We would wish to do this all across the country.
Yeah, that's it.
I know I have your back. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey.
Yes.
Mount Kenya recap. How was it? The president finished the tour.
Okay.
How was it?
Like what I said, JONAH, is that during the time that the president was going around Mount Kenya, you saw the project that the president was opening. That the project that are supposed to be open, like sub-chief, DO, DC, and the chief. Like president and the chief. Like president anatoka hapa anaenda anafungua sewage line. What is that the president was doing? President anatoka hapa anaenda open one classroom in Laikipia. We saw it's on record. Something that doesn't make sense. It means that hakuna project yenye president anaenda kufungua ya maana sana in the Mount Kenya region. But pale kuna watu wenye walitokea wakamcheer up, people were there. But where the president got a hard time, it was Nyandarua and Embu. People are booing him. Something that haikuwa kitu poa kuona watu wanaboo the president. But this is the time that the president should sit down and ask himself that I used to be loved in Mount Kenya. What has changed? Why do people don't love me right now? There is something that he has done he need to go back and look where the rain started beating him. That's
Do you have
what I can
anything to say about that tour, Dan Paul?
Yeah. So again, the last time we were sitting here, Jonah,
Yes.
you remember we were anxious.
Yes.
We were very anxious and we were asking ourselves, oh, finally the president has decided to go back to Mulima.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the day we were sitting here, we were thinking the Mulima was a no-go zone for who?
One Ruto.
The President of the Republic of Kenya, if you
Yes.
want to call him.
Yes.
That's okay.
Right.
But the President of the Republic of Kenya, that was a no-go zone for us. And we said that it would be, it wouldn't be pomp and color because of the altercations they had between himself and his former deputy. Okay.
Yeah.
But like my son has put it, well, he did. First of all, I want it to be very clear. When you read the Constitution,
Right.
Schedule number 4, Part A, it speaks about the functions of the national government. And the functions of the national government, if you go through all of it, there are actually 35, if you itemize them. In Part B, you have the functions of the county, which I want to believe, give or take, 14. So when the president goes to any part of the country, he's expected to, bring on board that which was in his development agenda. So what is development agenda? The development agenda should speak to the functions. Now, assuming that the president opened, that he opened a school. Was it a school? Or?
It was a school, one classroom.
Okay. So the question we should be asking ourselves is what kind of a school did he open? Was that classroom in the primary or in the pre-primary section of the school?
Pre-primary.
If it was in the primary school, then the president was justified in doing so. Why? Because under education, the function education, issues of primary school, tertiary, and universities, the preserve of the national government. So there's no problem.
Okay, John, I would like to disagree with my father over here.
Yes,
is that if a president can kutoka Nairobi aende mpaka all the way from Laikipia to go and open one school, does that make sense? Remember, this is a public figure, and remember, being a president is not a joke. Alitumia funds zingine going and opening one school. A president going and relaunch something that I feel like crying, going and relaunch, opening again a market in Karatina yenye ilifungulionga na Uhuru Kenyatta, anaenda naifungua tena. Does it make sense? The president lying to the public television that he was the one that made the road in Wamunyoro. Yet everyone knows very well, in August 2021, our former president was the one that opened that road. Na ilikuwa Mwai Kibaki ndiye alitengenezanga hiyo barabara. And Uhuru. This is a president that people anataka watu wamuamini. Does it really make sense? What he has said about the school,
right?
I really disagree with you. That is not the work of the president to open schools.
Now, Dan Paul, does it mean that many of the Gen Zs who are moving really don't understand the Constitution? Because from the way you are explaining, it's like, well, it is very much within the Constitution for this to happen.
Yeah, it is. So again, it's about civic education. So
right.
Unless you understand the functions of the two governments, the 1 and 48 governments, then you may not get this right. The national government has a function on education. And the county government has a function also on education. Actually, education is a shared function.
Okay.
Now, if you were to tell me today, for example, that the president went into Karatina and opened up an ECD classroom, then I would be saying the president lied to himself and lied to us by extension.
Right.
But if he walked into another area and opened up a school, a primary school, a classroom in one of those schools, I would be saying it is within his mandate to do so. Maybe the question we should be asking ourselves, was it worth his time? Maybe that's what we should be talking about it. And the second thing I want someone to challenge me here is, so now that he opened up the school, what sort of budget are we talking about? Did we lose any money in that construction? If we did, then it wasn't worth it. But number 3 is when the president goes around the country, he has major development agendas citizens want to hear him speak about. We call them infrastructural development. So he needed to speak to the infrastructural development mega projects. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mega project. If it is a project within the education center, then major. Then mwananchi would say, by the way, hiyo na ni kweli national government ilikuwa na hand. Kama alikuwa nafungua barabara, for example, we want to look at how many kilometers of road was he opening up?
How many, Jeffrey, you normally...
What was the status? What was the status? What was this? What tells you the status of a road, for example, or any development, Jeff, is you read the implementation report.
But someone going to open a road that was open back then.
So we are,
and is the president of the Republic of Kenya.
So we are
lying to Kenya.
So we are asking ourselves,
right?
What does that report speak? The report for the last quarter, what does it speak to that road? Would you have that part of the information?
No, you're talking of January, February, March.
Yeah, first quarter.
Okay.
Because if you have an implementation report tells you, from the control of budget, tells you that, by the way, I do want to interrogate road number AB Karatina to this kilometer.
Is this now the final quarter before the new budget?
No, the fourth quarter. Okay. The fourth quarter.
This is the third quarter.
This is the third quarter.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we clear up for the.
Okay.
Then we clear up in June.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so the point I'm trying to say is this: that for us to interrogate the wastage in resource allocation insofar as development is concerned for any sector, the tool that can help us do that is the implementation report that comes out quarterly.
Where do you get it from?
From the control of budgets report. They are there. And the auditor's report.
So does that explain why the different cabinet secretaries had first to tour the different
Precisely
places?
the point.
Because
so first they had the narrative,
yes,
by way of report. And then secondly, they were to look at the physical allocation as per the report. So in his wisdom,
he sent the cabinet secretaries.
To do what?
He went.
To first inspect the areas.
Yes.
Actually, they went to inspect different...
Using the narrative in the report.
Okay.
So now, in their wisdom, they identified what, according to them, was mega. Like I have said, the president is a very busy man. He has bigger things to do.
Right.
And for him to move an entourage into a county, he needs to bring out that which is mega. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mega, not small.
Okay,
Because
Jonah, before we continue, I would like to ask here, my friend now.
Yes.
Like he has said that.
Yeah, I can see.
I'm talking about this recent
from
yes.
father to friend. And don't forget, I'm uncle. So.
I'm talking about this recent trip in Mount Kenya.
Yes.
What major project did the president went to launch? Major project. One of them is opening a sewage, a major project.
No,
one classroom.
Okay.
Is it a major project?
Okay. Before
at some point, I think the constitution is right. Yeah. But at some point, I disagree with the constitution because some of the leaders are using it wrongly. The money that the president went with it to open this one classroom, that money put together can build even 10 classrooms. It was millions of money. You see, these leaders are using constitution wrong, even though the constitution is the one that is guiding them to do it. Yeah. As you know very well that they are the one that implemented it.
Probably this informs the
and this is the biggest mistake that they are doing.
Dan,
again, a bit of civic education.
Yeah.
Really. civic education.
You spoke of budget being a
that's
tool.
I wanted to go there. A bit
Come
of
on,
civic
go on,
education.
go on,
Yeah, a bit
go
of
on.
civic education. We one thing I was told when I went to school, I was told to learn, relearn, and unlearn.
Move to the mic. Yeah, I'm trying to
Learn,
hear you.
relearn, and allow yourself to unlearn.
No, I can hear you. Actually, I was hearing only learn.
No. I said you go to school to learn,
Yes.
to change that which you don't know,
Right.
to get to know about it. Then again, the professor tells you, allow yourself to relearn what you thought you knew. Actually, you didn't know much.
True.
Allow yourself to
Relearn.
But also he goes further to say, allow yourself to unlearn. Things change, metamorphosizes.
Yeah.
So now a bit of
Civic education.
civic education.
And even as you are doing that, remember in January, where was the president? In February, where was the president? There was a time when he was touring Nairobi.
Yes.
Now he's touring Central. There was a time when he toured.
We will like I said earlier. So that the case of Central we can put it to rest.
Okay.
I do not support the idea that the president shouldn't go around the country. No, he should go around the country. The point is the president is the father of the nation. He's at the unifying factor of, irrespective of where he has come in from, he is the father of the nation. But what Kenyans are asking is, now that Mr. President, you have come here, what are the goodies you are bringing on board? That is what the Kenyans are asking for. I go again and say that we expect, after the feasibility study has been done, which was done by his cabinet ministers, that he can only but be able to bring alive the major projects he promised in his manifesto.
Infrastructural.
Which
mainly
are basically infrastructural.
Right.
Because there's a budget attached to it. And like I said, a budget is a tool. When you use the budgeting thematics, when you use the stages of the budget, it tells you this was done, this was what was expected in this budget, this is how much that has been spent on this budget line. So until you interrogate that, everything else that we talk about, Jeff and Jonah, would be wishful.
Thank you.
And I think that's what we're saying. You can be seen to participate, but actually you are not participating. You are participating dismally.
Yeah.
Why? Because you don't have the background of the information. Data does not lie, does it?
No.
It does not lie. So if the president in his wisdom can, I'm told he used so much money to make sure that he gets his political line. The image of a president was tainted in the central region, or Murima for that matter, for obvious reasons that we all know.
Yeah.
But so the president had to clear his face. So going to send to Murima, he was going to clear face.
That's what Jeffrey said.
But he destroyed the face.
Exactly.
That's what destroyed his face forever.
Before you speak,
he was
there was a time Jeffrey said that the winner was in him organizing the news conference. For the Mount Kenya stations.
I can say that everything that the president is doing for his own benefit. He's not doing for Kenyans. Everything that the president is doing for his own benefit. He doesn't care what Kenyans are feeling. He has been promising day in, day out. He went to Nyanza, a lot of promises. He went to Mumias. What did you do? Give them a bonus. A bonus of everyone, it was 2,000. Bonus. How can bonus help someone in the whole year? He went to Nairobi, parading around the street, doing nothing. What major project has the president launched except from this food program, which is the county's work, is not the work of the president to give people food. It is not.
Okay, Dan, sometimes when I sit with a Gen Z, it's fire.
I like them.
Yes, but it's fire. There's an issue here he's trying to actually address.
Which is that
when the president moves from one county, this is the month of April. He had just left Central Kenya. Before that, I think he was in
Nairobi.
Nairobi. And I think he was in another country and another country. But one thing that came clearly now in Central was the visit by the different cabinet secretaries. That tells you something. That every promise now he's going to make, it's going to be institutionalized, and that makes it very serious. Because in every county he's going, he's actually dishing out promises.
Yeah.
But now when people saw the cabinet secretary choppers, that made it look like this is serious.
Yes.
Don't you think so?
11 choppers.
But this had to happen for Central, because in Central, what you've just said, it's like he had lost some image. You used the word image.
That's what I did. Yeah.
So he had to look like he's not just promising. Maybe this should be the way moving forward. Before he comes into a county, we see cabinet secretaries. Maybe this can help to bring back the trust.
Yeah,
we are talking about
if
trust.
You were to ask me, but it's not even asking me.
Yes.
But if you wanted to do any viable development, what do you do, number one? Don't you do a feasibility study?
Right.
If you wanted to do one, including, pitching camp at Sign TV, before you put up this station, don't you do a feasibility study?
Oh, yes, you do.
To inform you what?
The needs.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that now as we sit down at the executive level, we're able to say, these are the gaps we have identified here. And for us to put up the station, we need number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That's an angle of public participation.
And precisely the point.
Right.
So then after that, it is expected that those gaps that were identified need to be mitigated.
True.
So who mitigates?
What Kibaki used to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
What is the wrong thing that the president is doing?
When Jeffrey looks like he's underplaying the distribution of food, does he mean to say that according to the public in Nairobi, maybe the need is not food?
No. Even not even the need. The work of the president is not to go to every school to give people food.
So
that is the work of the county government.
I wanted to speak to that, Jeff, my son, if you allowed.
Yes.
And using the case for Nairobi, for that matter.
Right.
When a president moves out of one station to the other, there are two things that he does. Number one, he has to speak to development. Why? Because he is the king of the budget.
Right.
Members of the cabinet, members of the National Assembly are not supposed to spend any money, because their work is to oversight that development. But the president and his cabinet are the executors of the projects, so that the members of the National Assembly and Senate can oversight that development. Am I right? Actually, the president should not be dishing out any money, leave alone food. No, he shouldn't be giving out any money. So that is underdevelopment. Now, but the president, being a politician as he is, he also must politic. So politic is a game of politicians.
Right.
And actually, they will tell you against their own word and say, not me.
Yes.
You have misquoted, and they do that many times.
True.
So a lot of what we saw in Nairobi and in Mlima was more of politics. Unfortunately, Jeff, you said, it is coming at the wrong time, because this country, as we speak today, is bleeding. Before I left office, someone walked in. He's just coming in from Italy. He said, let me tell you, Kofi, this country is bleeding.
Right.
And the biggest problem that we have are the leaders cannot see that the country is bleeding.
Okay. We are just about to go for a break.
So this moment is not a moment for siasa. Hii moment ni moment ya development. Speak about real development. When he talked about chapati, it was politics.
True.
Who needs chapatis?
So there was no feasibility studies
because in that institution he walked into, I was there, I finished sleep.
Okay.
It was a vocational training, it's a technical institute. So akawaambiaje, school ya food and beverage. Akauliza, do you have a machine that can make do you make chapatis here? Akasema yes. Do you have a machine that can make chapatis? No. Can I buy you one? Is that development?
Okay.
It's politics.
Okay.
I hope I've clarified myself. Two things, development and politics.
Let's go for a break. Hey, someone has just brought in chapatis.
The bench.
0111980384. Give us your opinion on what we are talking about today. See you after the break.